how can other PAs who have no experience getting involved, like can they do to get involved with research or poster presenting? Is it hard? What's a way to get started that you'd recommend?
Yeah, I think it's quite simple. I think for me, I just really reflect first, what do I bring to the table? And how did that differ from before the PA role that was present? And then how can I measure that contribution? So that's really sort of what I think about. What am I finding that I'm doing that's improving quality of care, improving physician work-life balance, anything, and then try to come up with measures to provide that, either ideally quantitatively or qualitatively if you have to. And then just coming up with a research question. You can use PICO, or you can use any sort of way to get there. Mentorship is always great. So if you have an idea, talk to your supervising physicians. Look at the previous articles in the JAPA. There's lots of, that's a great publication. I don't read it as often as I should, but we have access to that as CAPA members. Read the articles, see what other people are doing, and you can even mimic their own, and then just reference their study protocol. So I do think it is quite simple. I think the thing is that you just can't expect to be compensated. It does have to be sort of your own within yourself that you would want to do this. I know that, some colleagues have said, I would love to do this, but, there's just no means for it. And no, there isn't. And I think that's why I come 45 minutes early in the morning and I just devote that to, either generating a protocol. I'm doing a clinical trial right now, actually. So, coming up with the ideas for that, writing the proposal and the ethics application for that, that's what I do, when I start my day, before I start the day, I should say. So I don't think it's difficult. Just be creative, find ways that you can measure your contribution, seek mentorship, measure those ways. This analysis is always exciting. Hopefully you can find a difference and then put it on a poster. And I think CAPA, we have our layout that we follow. And so, and I've done some really sort of, not the one that I did about changing specialties or a couple of years ago, it wasn't mind blowing. It wasn't profound at all, but just that opportunity of being able to articulate your thoughts in an academic way. It's a different type of style of writing. And so having that opportunity to do that, presenting it in front of colleagues and creating a poster, I think it's quite simple. So I'm happy to help anyone if they have any ideas and they just don't know where to get started. I think it's just, just put your head down, really reflect, and then go. And then don't, maybe you can find funding, but I think it sort of has to be within that you would want to do research like this.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have a lot of data that's stored in our electronic medical record system. So right. It's literally just looking at the billing file or the appointment list of what the appointments look like before and after a PA was introduced.
Yep.
I get intimidated by statistical analysis. So what would your suggestion be? Would it be worth contacting a statistician, or are there very simple ways that we can kind of analyze our data without feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, no, that is, and I did my master's, and even then, and I did a statistics, 2 statistics classes, and already there are 2 great resources, Anne, that I can send you that our founding, we have a physician mentor in our Edmonton Journal Club who's provided 2 great statistics books. And he said they're easy reads and they're awesome. And so if you know sort of what test you want to do, or if your variables that you want to compare, you can really, he said, I haven't read these books, but I'll forward you the titles of those. I'm sure that he wouldn't mind me sharing those with you at all.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Yeah, for the trial that I'm doing now, some of this, because the statistics are a little bit more challenging, but I just asked one of the residents who's currently doing a PhD MD, which is, mind-blowing, good for him. So he's going to help me out with that. And then to his credit, I'm going to, if it does get published or anything, he'll of course have co-authorship and help me out with that. So no, that can be daunting. I think that's where mentorship is helpful, and just finding easy reads. If you're doing qualitative stuff, it's quite simple, just measure things on a scale, a Likert scale, 1 agree, 5 disagree. And there are ways to measure those. I think you can keep it simple though. And, if a paper were turned down because of poor statistics or the way that your data was analyzed, then maybe you could at that time reassess things and maybe get some help from someone. But certainly I've never approached a statistician. I've just sought mentorship who knew who knew more than me and said, this is the data, this is the equation that you have to do, here are your variables, punch in these variables, and there you go. And
Excellent.
using SPSS or Excel, you can get away with it.